My name is Jacek Nowak. I'm a deputy head of the Industry Cooperation Office at the University of Silesia, one of the project partners. Together with the Silesia region, the second Polish partner of this project, we are very happy to organize this event. So, but it's not my role to make the official opening, so I would like to pass my voice to our main host, Chancellor for Development and Cooperation, Mr. Dariusz Laska. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I have official speech today because my boss, rector, said, Darek, you should speak official. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests and colleagues from University of Silesia and everyone who connect with us online. I'm pleased to welcome you here in Katowice and to address you in a few words on behalf of all our academic community, University of Silesia. It was an honor for our university to participate in the international project Improving Research and Innovation Infrastructure Performance from Fragmented to Integrated and Sustainable Cooperation InnoHEIs, and to get to know one another and exchange good practices. We strive to ensure that the academic community cooperates with national and international companies and strengthens mutual relations. May the time you spend in Katowice, the best time in the evening, probably today, allow us to make friends and connection we will rely on in our future initiatives. I would like to take the opportunity to thank you whole team of the project and project team at the University of Silesia for making this event. Mr. Jacek Nowak, thank you very much. Project leader from University of Silesia and all other staff members without whose dedication and efforts we would not be able to meet here today. Special thanks to the Marshal Office of the Silesia region. Thank you very much for good cooperation. On behalf of the Rector, Chancellor, and all Vice Chancellor of University of Silesia, I wish you, everyone, good time in Silesia region, Katowice, and University of Silesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this kind words. Please, I would like to pass the voice to Barbara Szafir, who is representative Silesia region.
It's enough, yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Barbara Szafir. I'm a Deputy Director of Regional Development and Transition Department of Marshal Office. And today, on behalf of our Vice Marshal, Ms. Anna Jedynak, I would like to welcome you in our region. And I hope you will have an excellent conference and all the talks today and conversation. And I'm glad that we can meet here in this wonderful space, which is a common joint initiative between two universities, Silesian and Economic. I know that in the afternoon you also will discover a bit more about our a part of a region because of the city of Katowice, but hopefully we will return in the future here. Our region is, we welcome you in the region where there's more than 40 universities and 30 research institutions. So that's the place where we want to gather all young people to stay and to continue their studies, to develop our region, and especially as far we are still maybe industrial region, but we want to go towards a green economy region, an innovative region, and with creative industries. I believe that today you will, of course, close this project. And as far as I know, you didn't have a lot of opportunity to meet in person, yes, because the most of the project were running during pandemic time, so mostly was online meetings. So I think that's like a bonus at the end. So, and just a little word about this pronunciation of InnoHEIs or InnoHEIs. In Polish slang, "heis" means money. So I wish you a lot of money for the future projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all these words, and thank you very much for being here. And I think the last part of the official opening will be done by Rima Dijkstra, the project manager, project leader of this project from Hanze University of Applied Science. Please.
Thank you, Jacek. Thank you all for coming, ladies and gentlemen, partners, guests. Participants, so it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the final InnoHEIs project conference. It's in a way we are celebrating, in a way it's a little bit sad, because during these 4 years we really became like friends, working together very hard to contribute our regional development, to find solutions how to improve the role of our universities, higher education institutions in the regions, that not be only receivers of a policy, I mean not implementing the policy, but also contributing how to design policy better, in better way, and also looking how to contribute to our stakeholders, I mean to our regions, industry, business, NGOs, how to researchers, how to make them better equipped using our innovation and research infrastructure. So we worked 4 years looking at the solutions. After 3 years, we designed our kind of action plans, which suggested for our regions. And the last year we were implementing. Yes, it was not easy way. Our journey was marked by the COVID, by the pandemic. So it was very pity that we had only the first kickoff meeting and we had to close ourselves. But anyway, I'm very grateful for the team because everybody was so open to collaborate even online. In the beginning, it was fun to meet online, you know, but after some time you get tired because all meetings online and you're more busy than usual. But anyway, you were a very great team and you are still. And I believe today we will be presenting our results, discussing them, learning from them again. And regarding to InnoHEIs pronunciation, InnoHEIs in Dutch, InnoHEIs money. And normally we would say InnoHEIs, like but it's actually was mixture, and I think it doesn't matter how we call ourselves. We know who we are. So thank you very much, and I wish all of us a very productive, interesting day in conference, and in afternoon we will meet in our project. Thank you. Special thanks goes to Jacek and team to receiving us here, to accepting us here, to hosting us. So it's a great pleasure to be in such a nice university, in such a nice region and city. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rima, for these kind words. So we just finished the official opening, and let's go to the most interesting facts. We have also here a very special guest with us. It is straight from the Interreg Europe Joint Secretariat in Lille, France. Please welcome and give special attention to Mrs. Aleksandra Niechajowicz del Ambrogio.
Good morning. Dzień dobry. Zaraz, czy ja... O, działa? OK. I jak ja mam naciskać? Prawo w lewo. OK. Nie działa.
I know what is wrong because it is too
Może
off.
musi być...
OK.
Dobra. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here, doubly happy, I might say, because not only from the professional point of view, but also from personal point of view, because I was born and raised in Katowice, and I'm very happy to be able to come back here. Also to my alma mater, because I studied here. So, well, basically you can say that my links with the region are prehistorical. Everybody who's from the region knows this area. This is in a big park just next to Katowice. I mean, you probably in 20 minutes you can get there by tram. And there is a big, huge park with a huge zoo. And in this zoo, there are those nice dinosaurs there. So this is me and my little sister when we were small. And last year I took also my family, my children there, because I thought I had so much fun. They will have fun too. Well, this is as far as they got. My husband took the picture of me walking there. They were standing next to him and crying because they were too afraid of the dinosaurs to follow there. So yeah, visit if you have the opportunity, because it's a very nice area. You think that the Silesian region is all about the industry, but we have plenty of other attractions as well. So I thought it would be nice to share this experience with you, this other point of view on Silesia. But I'm digressing too much, so let's dive into my actual presentation. So my presentation will take around 15 minutes. I will present a bit Interreg Europe, what it is, what the program is. Then I will mention the program's achievements and how InnoHEIs results are part of these achievements. And then I will say a few words about the new program. So let's start with the first part. What is Interreg Europe? So you know that Interreg Europe is part of cohesion policy. In this cohesion policy, we have 4 strands. Strand A, which is cross-border cooperation. There are 64 programs in that strand. Then there is the strand B, transnational cooperation, with 16 programs. Then there is the strand C, our strand, with 4 programs. And then strand D, which is about the outermost regions, with 5 areas there. Our strand C, is exceptional in the sense that we cover all European regions. And in the sense of Interreg Europe, we cover not only all European regions, but also Norway and Switzerland. So we are very proud of this. What is the objective of Interreg Europe? Well, we support the identification and the transfer of good practices. So to put it simply, we support policymakers in finding solutions to common issues that they may find in their regions. This is why our program is mainly dedicated to public authorities. And this is why we focus so much on the exchange of experience. We have 2 actions that you know, projects where policymakers from different regions of Europe gather together and decide to work on one common or similar policy challenge to improve something in the region. And the policy learning platform, which is capitalizing on the achievements and the knowledge gained through the projects to make it available to a wider public. So the community users, the policy platform users can participate in our community of peers. They can make use of the knowledge gathered in our database, in the good practice database, and they can also ask for expert advice from our thematic experts. What were the achievements in the 2014-2020 period? So you know that we had 4 calls. In these 4 calls, we invested 322 million in 258 projects. More than 2,000 partners participated in our projects from 90% of NUTS 2 level regions in Europe, and 25% of them were managing authorities. You can see here that we had 4 priorities, and the distribution among the priorities was quite balanced. InnoHEIs is part of the research and innovation priority, which has 65 projects in it. Each time during the final event, we try to put the project into kind of a bigger perspective of the family of projects tackling the similar issues. So 53 projects, there were 53 projects on cooperation on innovation delivery, and 12 projects focusing on innovation ecosystems, and one of them was InnoHEIs. What were the achievements of InnoHEIs? Because the project is not finished yet, but you already have some impressive achievements that we are here to celebrate. I would already like to to congratulate you on these achievements. So 20 good practices were identified in your project. You have reported already 104 people with increased capacity, and 3 policies already were improved in Netherlands, Lithuania and Poland. So congratulations on that, and thank you very much. Thanks to your hard work, the program is performing well, and the program can prove to more and more that cooperation works, that the cooperation is a very effective tool of policy improvement. Not only your results not only benefit your own partners, but through our policy platform, they can be disseminated to a wider public and help a bigger group of policymakers. So 5 of your good practices were validated by our thematic experts and are included in their policy, in our good practice database. So other people can consult them and get inspiration from them. The good practices of your project were also mentioned in 2 policy briefs. And a good practice from Sweden, Mind the Gap, was presented during the thematic workshop in Brno last year. And you also participated in the matchmaking session on university industry collaboration. So thank you very much for your hard work, for this involvement, also in not only in your project, but also for the fact that the wider community can benefit from what you have achieved for your hard work in your project. How does your result translate into the program's results? All of our projects have finished phase 1 at this point, and the program is performing quite well, and it's achieved all its objectives. So just to give you a few numbers, 5,600 good practices have been identified, and more than half of them, 3,000, have been included in the good practice database. 1,668 action plans were approved, and 22,000 staff with increased capacity were reported to us at this point. About the results, more than 1,000 policy changes, half of them concerning structural funds, have been reported. And thanks to these policy changes, 1,354 million euros were mobilized in our regions. So with 2,098 million euros ERDF invested, this represents a leverage effect of 4.5, so quite a nice result, which we are happy with. About the new program, we have more or less the same rationale, improving the regional policies through cooperation, through good practice exchange and transfer. So our new budget is 379 million euros ERDF. The main difference is that we have now 1 priority, Interreg priority on capacity building, and 29 countries are involved. So we keep Switzerland and Norway. Unfortunately, UK is no longer part of the program. So we have this 1 cross-cutting Interreg priority on capacity building, and we have 6 topics. Basically, this means that any topic related to cohesion policy can be tackled in our new projects. We also have this thematic-less cooperation, which is covered under this governance topic. So this would be projects focusing mainly on administrative management of the policies. So I don't know, procurement or state aid. We have the concentration principle. So 80% of the funds of the program should be concentrated under smart, green, and social specific objectives. Under first call, we have already our first call. The projects are approved and they have started their implementation. 72 projects out of 134 were approved. You can see that the topics that are dominant are green and smart topics. We are now in our second call, which will be open until 9th of June. The call is open, all topics are open still. The assistance for the applicants is ongoing, so if you are going to apply, you can find information there on our website in Look for Funding tab. There are various forms of assistance that you can ask for, the FAQ section, videos, recordings of seminars, and a possibility also to ask for feedback on your project idea. So if you're interested, we welcome you to use these opportunities. If you want to keep in touch with us, join our community if you haven't yet, sign to our newsletter, and yeah, let's stay in touch even though your project is coming to an end. Thank you very much. I wanted to thank you also from Ségolène and Anna, who are your regular project officers who couldn't be here, but they asked me to say thank you for a great cooperation that they had with you. They were sorry, they had other, they were involved in other activities and they couldn't come, but they just wanted to say thank you, congratulations, and that they hope to see you in other projects in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My technical colleagues said that we need to use our microphones better, to speak closer to microphones, because there's some problem with audio in streaming. So I hope it is better now. So once again, thank you very much for this very informative talk about interregional cooperation. I have no doubt that ideas for new project, seeds for new projects was planted, but I think it's a high time that to speak about the project thanks to which we are here. But I would like to start with a short video. For some reason we look younger on it, but I'm sure that today we are smarter.
Samarbeta.
Współpraca. Kollaboracja.
Samverka.
Bendradarbiavimas.
Yhteistyö.
Collaboration.
In many European regions and countries, we've been investing a lot in infrastructure for higher education institutions, but we are not yet using them to their full potential. We need to attract more businesses, we need to attract more innovative ideas to be operating in this infrastructure. The InnoHEIs project can help us to learn from what they're doing in other regions and countries, and that will give us some insight and some ideas to improve our policies to make this infrastructure used in their full potential.
InnoHEIs is a very important project for the Northern Netherlands. Through InnoHEIs, with our 11 partners all over Europe, we try to achieve and develop a totally new role for our University of Applied Science with entrepreneurs in the region, in which maybe 10,000 SMEs will join our 30,000 students into a whole new ecosystem in which innovation is the main goal.
This project actually will cover many of those worries and come with policies, recommendations, how to address those worries to be more effective and more impact, especially from our role as an institute of higher education.
InnoHEIs is for me a joint undertakings for better use of research and innovation infrastructure in Europe, and it's open for, I hope, for everybody, for every enterprises that want to use it for innovation.
That was the past. Now is now. So let's have attention to Rima Dijkstra, our project leader, who will speak more about our project. Rima, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. You know, I'm too small. I think you. Yeah, sorry. It's holding, yeah, okay. So for me, you are not older, you are younger, because you're smarter. So I think we heard already InnoHEIs results from Alexandra, thank you very much. So I will not go in very much details because you will be presenting yourself. Each region will be presenting what did they achieve, what they still achieving. So we always say InnoHEIs, and very rare to pronounce complete title of a project, because this is, I think, a core what we worked on. Improving research and innovation infrastructure, performance from fragmented to integrated and sustainable cooperation. So I remember when we were writing this application, we actually were thinking, what do we want? So we really want our research and innovation infrastructure be employed, not fragmented in fragmented way, but in structural way. We really wanted that our universities will play a role in our regions. So this is very simple. That our project was funded, luckily, and they got a budget to implement our activities. And at the end, this phase, this last phase, is the most, in a way, most difficult, because we are mostly working alone. We're just meeting very rare online to discuss how it's going on. However, we were also quite lucky that we still had possibility to meet at the end of the project couple of times, I mean first phase. So who we are? We are 11 partners from 7 regions, 7 European regions, and forming our partnership, our consortium, we had in mind that we want to, because Interreg Europe addressing innovation policies in the regions, so we wanted, next to the regional owners of the policies, put a really the universities which we are addressing mostly in that project. So we formed, like, for example, in this in Silesian case, we have regional Authority Marshall Office, and Silesian University in Katowice. Same in Netherlands, in Hansa, plus SNN, which is kind of a quality innovation agency, because it's difficult to explain what it is in European language. In other cases, like in Lithuania, it was Innovation Center and Ministry of Education, Science and Sports. So, and same in Tampere region. Only 3 regions were like me. Sweden was represented by Sweden University, but of course we had very close relation with the regional governments. The same in Barcelona University with close Catalonian government relations. And also France, it was the WUP agency with very close regional relations. So in our case, we really worked with policy owners because it's the main goal of the program of Interreg Europe. Also because we want to influence the regional policies and improve regional development. So 11 very dedicated, good partners, very contributing, and there was no problems during our journey to be late or to be not on time. So we always were really reflecting, contributing, and participating in all meetings, as in this one as well. Thank you for that. So what is the main objective of InnoHEIs? We want to contribute to higher education and research and innovation infrastructures to the regional innovation performance. So in this case, we wanted to create a favorable environment for interactive engagement of business and industry and collaboration among quadruple helix actors in regions, addressing the regional societal challenges. And we had a slogan like "Speed up innovations." So we split our main objective into 3 sub-objectives to make it easier and to really explain what we want to work on. So this is like improve our research and innovation policies, ensuring effective and efficient use of research and innovation infrastructure, especially of higher education higher education institutions infrastructure, encourage research and business industry collaboration, and enhance sustainable role of our universities in the regional policy improvement. I mean, like not only receiving this innovation policy, the actions, but also to help to improve the design and the preparation of these innovation policies. So how we actually have approached, how we did it, was perform regional diagnosis in each partner region, 7 of them. So we mapped our higher education institutions and research innovation infrastructure. We performed gap analysis to identify gaps and really what we need, what kind of challenges we need to tackle to improve research innovation infrastructure, and also enhance the role of higher education institutions in the regional development to design smart specialization strategies and to implement them in the regions. So we did 7 study visits, thematic workshops, and peer reviews in each partner region. Regional diagnoses were performed by each partner region. It means in some cases there are 2 institutions, 2 partners, some cases 1. And we discussed this regional diagnosis during our peer review exercises. And we learned at 4 levels, like it was individual learning, it was organizational learning, also our stakeholders learned, and we did external learning, disseminating our knowledge at the European level. And of course, continuous dissemination was performed because I think it's also one of the most important things, not only do things, not only achieve the results, but also to disseminate them, to share them. So what is our results? As I said, you already will be presenting it, but like we did peer review exercises in each region, we had close collaboration with our stakeholders preparing the action plans. We actually not only learned ourselves, but also some stakeholders were traveling with us in virtual way and also a physical way when it was possible. We also talked to the owners of research and innovation infrastructures to get their needs, to have information what actually is needed. And we also shared the learnings which we had in each region. We learned from different good practice examples, and we shared with our stakeholder group members. And also we put all these learnings and using good practice examples in our action plans, which actually implemented this year. It's the last months. We stopped our project in July 31st. So as Alexandra mentioned, we are very happy that 3 policy instruments were improved using learnings from the InnoHEIs project. So this is project results. I would say that we achieved nearly of them, and some of them we exceeded. As we see, we planned policy learning events to do 50. We did 52, but actually we did more, because when we were reporting, it always was question from secretariat, joint secretariat, did you do it really separate, or did you do it back to back? And very often I said, okay, let it be, because it doesn't matter how many in this number, it's matter how many we had. Because as you said, when we had the Corona, because we were planning to go to Barcelona already, and Ricard prepared program already, we were ready, we were buying tickets, and suddenly it was, no, it's not possible. So when I thought, what should we do? So, and we did for ourselves much more difficult. We organized so many online events, online discussions, to keep the InnoHEIs project spirit, to keep on going, because was very difficult time to work online, not to meeting each other, not to learning, but to work online, it's much more difficult. I was catching myself very often when I'm flying somewhere during the presentations of good practices. So because to concentrate for long term, and we did like one and a half days sometimes, it was really, really difficult, but I'm very proud that we did it, and we all learned during even this virtual journey. So number of number of good practices identified, we also exceeded, because we planned 16, we got 20. The number of people with increased capacity stayed the same as we planned, so 104, exactly 104. Action plans, we planned 7, of course it should be 7, it could be less, no more, because it's only 7 regions. Appearances in media, I don't know, perhaps it's wrong number, but it looks a bit too less, 5 out of 17. I think we did more, but okay. And average sessions per project pages, it's 532. It's also more than it did. And we even managed to influence some money, 200,000, because you know, this was the end of the program, end of the financing period 2022. So it's very difficult to influence the money, because all calls already happened, all money spent. But anyway, we managed, I think, thanks to the North Netherlands region, we did it. So I will not talk about results in there, but I would like to mention just the meetings which we had. We had all 7 meetings as planned in regions. There are 3 physical, so we had really tough springtime last year, to traveling to Barcelona, to traveling to Vilnius, but we did it, and we are very happy, because this is really how it should be done, because to learn in real life it's much more efficient and easier than online. Next to that, we did 3 additional official meetings next to the steering committee meeting every 2 months, I think. So I'm happy that Mid-Sweden University hosted student speech related to InnoHEIs project partners and areas addressed. We also did impact workshop. Thank you, TAMK and all Tampere partners. It was a very interesting workshop hosted, and the keynote speaker was Vice President of TAMK. And also we have an interactive workshop with European Commission GRC. Thank you, Ricard, organizing it, and we had really interesting discussions, and they were very interested to follow us. We were interested to have their opinion. And we have meetings in all partner regions. I will not go into details, you see them here. Just I would like to share with you some memories. So was our kickoff meeting. You all came to Groningen, and we have very interactive, I think even 3 days, working together, learning from each other. And the next meeting after, when we got this corona, was shock what we do. Then it was a meeting in Mjön with Sweden University. Students pitched the ideas, and it was really very interesting for us also to listen how we see us, I mean students. And then we went to France, Centre Val de Loire. So as you see, we are still online, but it was very interactive, interesting meeting. We did some exercise online, sharing our ideas how to improve the performance of what do we need for better performance of research innovation infrastructure in our universities. And then we went to Silesia. So why Silesia? Silesia is a very important region, so why we are second time here already. But it was also very interesting, the meeting hosted by Jacek, like now, and the region also contributed a lot to organize it and to learn from us. We squeezed to 2 days because, as I said, to learn online, it's not so easy. And then we had this HES workshop with GRC, with European Commission body, so discussing higher education role in preparation of the smart specialization strategies in the regions and how we can increase and enhance it. And then we went to Finland, to Tampere for a couple of days virtually, discussing their regional diagnosis and performing peer review exercise. And then we again went to Sweden, but now we really to a region. It was a regional diagnosis performed, and we discussed it, and we learned from each other on 19 and 20. We had a nice movie. I think Karin will share this movie again, I hope, today. No? Oh. It was a nice movie about the region, about regional innovation infrastructure. And then next, at last, we went physically to Barcelona. So it was really nice to see after nearly 3 years each other and greet and physical and discuss and work together. It was very interesting. The 2 days we were met also Catalonia regional government and discuss their situation, how they stand in this regional innovation policies according to the research innovation infrastructure, and also higher education institutions, how important they are for regions. And the last meeting, physical meeting, was in Vilnius. So we were received by the Ministry of and the Innovation Center. We felt very welcomed, and was interesting also 2-3 days to discuss the Lithuanian cases and good practices, and also share and learn from each other. So this was our journey, and I would like to share with you also our impressions. Perhaps for Secretariat it will be interesting lessons learned. What did we learn during our journey? So despite of the difficulties, despite of these circumstances, we still continue our learning process, and I think it was very successful. For me, it was kind of a good practice example how you can contribute to the regional development, even learning online. We kept spirit from all sides, not only from myself, but also from your side. Was a lot of also influence in good way, how we can continue, how to work. And Ukraine war happened, so we even discussed even these things, how it's influencing our regions and how we can also tackle this challenge. The project meetings was really efficient. We really discussed things, we really shared things, and this process, I think, was very important and learning curve for us also. So once more, thank you very much for your hard work, and congratulations with your results, and I wish you good luck in the future developments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So
InnoHEIs project was all about managing infrastructure to find ways to foster innovation with and for companies. So now we will have the last before the coffee break. It's very important. The last speech presentation will be given by Marcin Libera, Head of Research, Educational and Artistic Infrastructure Office. Marcin, the floor is yours, and I will just put your slides on.
Still good morning, because we are before coffee and coffee break. Yeah, still morning. It's really nice to see you, all of us here, the same persons we met several times during the project. And I would like to say something more about the system of management of our infrastructure. Sorry for the delay. Okay, so I would like to say you, I should be closer as I.
Maybe you can take this. I don't know if it's better for you.
Yeah, it should be better. So I would like to say you about the management system in the university, which actually was implemented in the university at the beginning of the InnoHEIs because of the policy in Polish science. So because of the changes in policy in aspect of science, we make a lot of changes in university, and that time we decide that we should somehow change also the system of management of infrastructure. So we established the offices for that, and we move any competences in aspect of infrastructure to this office. But during the InnoHEIs, we have a lot of opportunity to look on the system in other universities in the project. So during these years, during the InnoHEIs, we changes and make the system better and better, and also we prepare the system for management. But to start about the system, we have a structure which actually is we can say easy, because we have some council for research, didactic and artistic infrastructure, where we have a rectors, chancellors, and deans of faculties. Not all faculties, but these people are meeting all or 2 times during the year and decide about the policy and development of infrastructure, and they actually also look on the money we have for that and decide which kind of project should we prepare to get more money for the infrastructure. And after that, after the council decide, decision is pushed to the deans of faculties to make the policy in the faculties. And second stream is office, which is in the line of with the chancellor and the vice chancellor directly. So first is the science department, which is where we have an office for infrastructure. This is the Polish pronunciation. That's why it's IBDA, infrastructure for research. This is in Polish badania, that's B, didactic and artistic infrastructure, because also we have a faculties of artistic faculties. And in offices there is a several person. Next level is the offices in faculties. So also there are people which are watching on the infrastructure. I show you for the moment what we have in our competences. And also the actually infrastructure was divided somehow on the infrastructure which is strategic, crucial, aerial and specialistic. So it gives us the possibility to also change the system of the financial support, because the most important for us is the strategic infrastructure, because it gives us a lot of evaluation points and also a lot of cooperation. So we analyze any activity of our infrastructure to somehow divide the infrastructure for such groups. Also crucial is very important. So if we have a problem with a strategic infrastructure, the financial support have to be fast and direct for such laboratories and to keep them working, because we can lose a lot of points and after that a lot of money if we not support properly them. But more about the council. The council, of course, mainly think about the strategy, about the financial support, and also development. They also looking on the activities of infrastructure in the university, so they analyze any information get from us, from the office, and also they support us in the official and during the discussion in the university about the infrastructure. And also the council is responsible for management regulation for the infrastructure. And next is the office, and here in the office we get the data about the resources we have and also evaluation system which we actually prepare. We evaluate any infrastructure we have. This is now more than 5,000 different kind of infrastructure, more than 200 laboratories where we get the infrastructure. So we collect all infrastructure in laboratories, and there we have an evaluation system for these laboratories. So we get the points by our system to watching how much publication and any other activities is made by the infrastructure. We're not looking on the persons, but the infrastructure. And this give us the results, and by these results we also can look if it is a strategic or not strategic infrastructure. And also in our office is sharing of infrastructure, so if any kind of question is in the university, everything is prepared by about infrastructure is prepared by office. Also marketing of the infrastructure, development processes, so if we need to buy something, anything is going by office. And also acquisition and application in aspect of infrastructure is also supported by us. And also if it is a clear infrastructure project, we prepare it the whole projects. And next are the offices in faculties. This is let's say the persons on the first line of working, so they just take a care of the infrastructure in the faculties. So also if something happens with the laboratories, with the infrastructure, they have to prepare the proper documents for financial support and send to office. So more or less they have a lot of responsibilities by by the more technical works they also have in responsibilities. And to have a chance to make some politics and management, we need money for that. So we have a budget, and the budget is divided to maintenance and development. So also we analyze the system and how infrastructure was supported in the university by the years, and more or less we can divide properly the maintenance and development costs. So money are for the any maintenance, repairs, and gases, modernization. So we also, by the analysis, can rationalize the stream of money for, let's say, gases. So there is only one contract for whole university, for instance, and for development, of course, the purchase and on the contribution cost. If we have a project where we need a contribution cost for infrastructure, also we have an in office from our budget. We support that, and also if there is any commercial laboratories, which actually was established last year. This is also prepared by our office, so we make plans, management plan, and we also analyze the chance for success, commercial success of such laboratories, and if anything is proper prepared, we can financial support the establish of the laboratories, and also for the first years we can support them if they start to really earn the money. And sources is subvention and projects, sharing IPDA, training and sale of new and used infrastructure, and it is kind of money we get to the office and to our budget. And main part is some part of the main subvention. So subvention before is divided by the faculties, is divided by different kind of activities, and after that the rest of the money of university is going to the faculties. So the money for infrastructure now is not in faculty actually. So this is the main change in the university, and this is also one of the tool which give us a chance to make a politics and discuss with the deans and people in the university. And our evaluation system is compatible with a system of the evaluation of Polish institution, of science institution. So we are looking on different kind of activities. Also looking on the kind of the type of faculty. So in the science and technology we have a different kind of evaluated points, and like here in the theological science it's hard to think that they make a lot of sharing of infrastructure, but also is possible. Important is that this system is compatible with the system of evaluation, Polish system of evaluation, because we have also prepared documents for the Poland. Poland is a system for evaluate the science in Poland. So also we get the data. This data which we get are compatible with this evaluation system. And after that, after we established the system for management of infrastructure, we also, as I says, we are working also in InnoHEIs and watching how infrastructure is managed in our partners. So the results of projects give us the chance to make a system for management, evaluation, and monitoring financial support for infrastructure. And thanks to the results of the project, we prepare the matrices for competences, streams of information, makes the characterization of processes and our infrastructure. So to make the development better, supporting maintenance faster and more rational, we develop the system. So now the system is implemented in the university. We are during the process of evaluation and progression. Of course, there is still several points we have to we can make a better. So the process is during realization, but the system gives us a chance to have a lot of information and really fast information about the all infrastructure we have. We have also some information about the problems with the presentation of infrastructure in websites. Also, database of experts and infrastructure should be prepared better than now. And also collaboration process, reservation of infrastructure will be automatic. Also support for development process we can support by the system. Here also we can see that the data will be, of course, recorded and really fast available. And I hope that give us the chance to support better cooperation with business, because of the data should give us the chance to prepare the offer for stakeholders much faster, and by this way we can strengthen the cooperation with the stakeholders, especially to be faster and offering our infrastructure for business much faster with proper cost, of course, not different cost, watching on the different part of university. That we know that such story have in the past several times we can see that different faculties offer the same infrastructure in different kind of costs, so it not be a proper, of course, watching from the point of the university. Also during the project in InnoHEIs, we start a discussion of with other university in Silesia about the consolidation in aspect of the sharing infrastructure. And the process is still during discussion, but several points we also analyze. So first was the formal documents of sharing infrastructure in different universities in the Silesia. So we hope after that we can prepare such a proposal to somehow consolidate the formal points and documents of the institution, because there is the real problem when we want to share the infrastructure between universities because of the regulation. And I hope this give you some overview about our system. And I can say that thanks to the project we can see the different kind of management of the infrastructure in Europe, and our system is basing on this information, and hopefully we can manage our infrastructure much better in the future to make a university strengthened, and also maybe our collaboration also in the future. Thank you.
I need to ask this question. Are there any questions? I knew that. So Marcin, this is a question for you. Sorry, Karin? No, because but people online don't know. Okay, that's true. Hello, yeah.
I have a question regarding commercial relation to commercial laboratories and commercial laboratories and research infrastructure. How is your relation from the university point of view to this type of activities? I think you mentioned something, but I did not really get it.
Yes, I said about the support of commercial laboratories, but this is the commercial laboratories established by university. So we analyze if we have any kind of type of research we can make commercially. There is several points where university is rather strength. Yeah, so we have a lot of infrastructure, and we can organize this infrastructure and these laboratories in the kind of the competence centers. Some of these centers are not commercial, but this is science center, which actually are not under faculty deputy. So this is some kind of commercial centers. Some of them, most of them are not commercial, but we have now some such centers which are commercial laboratories, and actually they earn the money by themselves. But still they are part of the university, but are not in the faculty.
I have a question also. First of all, congratulations. I'm very happy that it's additional result for InnoHEIs, that you improved your management system and you're collaborating with other universities sharing their infrastructure. So my question, which university it is actually? The other university which is sharing infrastructure?
We can share, yeah. Also, other university can.
You said you started this process with.
We start the process of the consolidation of the sharing. So all of university have the regulation for sharing of infrastructure, because several years ago, if I remember, in 2014, something like that, there was the information. I don't remember how was made by our government, but doesn't matter. That time, all university have to prepare the regulation for sharing infrastructure. Also, University of Silesia have such document because was needed that time. But any of university don't have any kind of unique document, unified document, but all of universities make this document by themselves. And now when we are looking for the different kind of documents, we have a completely different regulation. So if we want to share the infrastructure, we actually should be unified with the regulation of other university, because they take from us. And if they take from us, they should be unified with our regulation. So we see the problems with that. Still, the problem is visible. That's why we start discussion about the alliance and make shaking with this document somehow and prepare one unified document for Silesian universities. And also the points about the consolidation of this area was added to the project of the analysis of possibility of consolidation of Silesian universities, because we have a project for that also in Silesia. It's 1 year old project, and in this project we are looking on the possibility of different kind of consolidation on different area, and also one of them is area of sharing of infrastructure. But first problem is this documents and formal point of sharing problems. So we are during analysis how to unify the regulation.
Okay, so actually you answered to my question. My question was if you're working with other universities. I understand you have a project with other Silesian universities. How many of you are?
In this consolidation program, we have 7 universities. The most important, some technical university, medical university, and economic university. The most important university are in the project of watching the possibility of consolidation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I saw more questions, so we need to wait for our coffee. So Zita, please.
Very short question. I have interest in this your commercialized labs which are under the university. Did you give some support for creation of this commercialized lab from university grants or something? And how you manage with state aid rules? Because all the time it's really complicated when you have to follow state aid and all activities are which are under universities. So
yeah, so
it's just interesting.
This is the problem. You says we also see during the analysis how to commercialize our infrastructure, and that's why we established the science centers, which are not under the faculty. This was the first point, and the problem with supporting is also visible, but only during you get the money from European Union to support the infrastructure. Because if we support only by the money from the university, which are from our budget, we can share, we can make even commercial, we can establish commercial laboratory which by normal way can earn the money in the market. So we need special regulation for the centers which are different from regulation for faculty. Because if you are working with the documents of faculty, you have a problem also with a higher regulation from the Polish government. So that's why we prepared the regulation for Science Center of University of Silesia. And there we put one main point, they have earned money by themselves. But we can support them, so if there is a plan for establish new laboratory, which show us the business plan, how they will be working in the market, how they will be earning the money, if there is some market for such activity, we can decide, and council can decide that yes, from the budget of university, we can support such laboratory to establish them. And also by the short time after established, we also support them with some money. But after a year, 2 years, we of course decide how long we will be supported them. We expect that they will be commercial laboratory earning by themselves to be normal business, but as a university.
I guess there is one more question. Yes, I also wanted to ask about one aspect. Do you have any policy related to open access to the data which are generated from research infrastructure? Or do you solve such a matter? Do you need open access to data which are produced by research infrastructure? Because now it's a new aspects which are
this is new aspect. Also, we are during the process of preparing the system of open data system in the university. This is something what we are working with 2 years, yeah. But also the data from infrastructure have to be in the system, yeah. So we are during the process. I can say that we solved any problems because there is a lot of discussion also between the scientists how to prepare this system. But yes, we have to be in the system of open data.
Okay, so I guess if there are any more questions, let's move them to the networking coffee break, because it took us a little bit longer than we planned. So my question is, if 20 minutes break, it would be enough? So we will meet here 20 minutes to 12, yeah? So it's 22 minutes. Okay, thank you very much, Marcin. So, we are back, and there is a fascinating journey through the project regions ahead of us. We will be starting in Netherlands. Joep Hoveling will guide us there. So, Joep, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jacek. Yes, so up to me to kick off this part of the meeting. Our results so far, because I think for many of us it's an ongoing process. We have some preliminary results, but I'm sure that everyone is going to use the time ahead of us to gain more results, and I think that is what is happening in the Netherlands as well, in my region. So, short recap: our action plan aims to impact the investment for growth and jobs program, specifically the operational program ERDF in the northern Netherlands. We have an action which states to create a better dialogue between the quadruple helix stakeholders and to improve the exchange of information in order to more jointly create future goals and thereby working towards a more integrated innovation ecosystem. We have some results, and I wrote them down in 3 categories, and I will go into more detail about that. Why did we write down this action? Because we noticed that there was room for improvement for the structural lines of communication between government and regional stakeholders in our region. The higher education institutions play an important role, and their innovation infrastructures as well. And we try to get them into a better position by investing in the lines of communication. We also looked at the Swedish partnerships, and we visited the region in Sweden because in their governance they have more the role of the stakeholders already involved, and especially I was also interested in the role of the governments which they play there. So looking at the results so far, we are looking at new ways of working as well as the process and the design of goals as really a joint effort, a joint investment, a joint collaboration, building partnerships, and more based on a vision and less on specific project activities. I will explain that a little bit further. New elements of our innovation strategy for the upcoming programming period are also integral, future-proof, more coherence, so less fragmented, more integrated, collaboration and synergy. And also looking at looking more at monitoring aspects and learning from projects. And we have a project running in our region which is called Connect, and I think that is a really sort of a stepping stone and experimenting with each other related to these challenges. So as I think most of you know, especially the partners, is that we already in 2018 launched an open innovation call. And we've, in the last couple of years, we've tried to build on that. And for us, it was a major change in the way of designing and implementing the calls. It was a shift away from this is what we want, this is where you're being judged upon, thereby also stating what you don't want and actually presuming the demand. So you have ideas, you have projects, and that's where you're basing all your goals upon. But actually, what we're trying to move towards is informing and involving our stakeholders, trying to explain what is your innovation strategy for the upcoming years, really challenging them and listening to them, and finding the matches where their objectives meet our objectives. We also have our innovation strategy where we have these so-called societal challenges or transitions. They are from a linear to a circular economy, from a fossil-based energy to renewable energy, from analog to digital, and from healthcare towards positive health. So why do I mention these transitions? Because they are really at the core of our innovation strategy, and they're inclusive, because everybody can contribute to these kind of goals. It's not a specific technology, it's not a specific sector, but it's much more inclusive. And thereby we try to improve with these kind of transitions. We also try to create a sense of urgency. We try to create collective energy and a sense of urgency to work towards these kind of transitions and goals. So, like I said, we started with the open innovation call, and now we are well, improving it. And like I said, it's creating dialogue with your stakeholders to present your challenge and ambitions with your innovation strategy, and then it's up to the stakeholders to identify their main issues, which needs to be addressed, and they need to agree upon themselves what is needed for the region, so not what is needed for an individual company or an individual university, but much more what is needed for the region, and to agree upon possible solutions based on a vision. And that is what we are trying to get our stakeholders to work on. Really present a vision. This is the point in the future where we want to work on. What kind of structural changes and improvements are needed in the ecosystem to work towards this vision, this goal, and thereby creating collaborative work and a programmatic approach to realize this vision funding. And we see it as a sort of a roadmap, an investment agenda for the region, and then we try to see, okay, how can we fund this investment agenda, this roadmap? And it's probably not one type of funding, not just ERDF, but it's also regional or national funding which is needed. And what we try to do is create goals which support the needs. So it's working the other way around. It's not stating, like I said, these are our criteria, these are what we want you to do. No, it's based upon their needs. So it's more tailor-made, it's the right funding at the right time, and trying to tackle the hurdles, the investment hurdles, the other kinds of hurdles which are in the way of fulfilling this vision. So that is the general idea in a nutshell, which we are working on, and we are in the upcoming semester trying to make this happen, to challenge our stakeholders. What are the most important themes for our region? How are you already working together? What is needed in order to really write down this vision, and then trying to match that with funding. So again, coming back to the action plan, we need to be in more contact with our stakeholders in order to make that happen. Like I said, in the second bullet, we are creating this kind of call, a challenge-based competition for these visions, for these themes of importance for our region, distinctiveness from other regions. So where can we excel? And we are trying to challenge them to come up with these kind of vision-based initiatives. Another action which is taking place is a truly integral approach for the startup and scale-up ecosystem in our region. Every party involved is trying to work together in order to create one big functioning system. So there are incubators, there are accelerator programs, there are, well, you name it, and everybody is doing their part in the system, but often they are not really connected to each other. So we are challenging them to come up with one big joint integral approach to tackle these challenges. Last point is, like I said, this project taking place in our region called Connect, which was based upon an open innovation call, where we asked the universities how can knowledge valorization take place for the companies in our region, especially the SMEs. I think there are many aspects, but I'm running out of time, so I will keep it short. We are looking much more on monitoring. Data was also mentioned in the previous presentation, other kinds of partnerships, and what kind of role as a government and new clusters, networks, and other public-private partnerships are there, which we were not in contact with, and by this project we are getting more and more involved in these networks, and they're often more related to social innovation, process innovation, and hopefully this project can change the system, change the value chain. I think it relates quite much to what the previous presenter was mentioning, and also other business models. So those are our results so far, but like I said, it's a work in progress, and we're continuing in the upcoming months, probably years. But InnoHEIs has helped us to boost this movement. So that's it. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Because I keep forgetting about that. If not, we will now travel to Spain. It's hot there, I've heard. Some kind of very high temperatures now. Not so high like in Katowice.
Not been there for a few weeks, so.
Okay. So give me a moment. Yes, you can. It doesn't work? Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah. So, thank you. I just need to move around because I'm only used to teaching and I move when I teach, so it's very difficult for me to be just standing. I cannot think if I'm just standing still. So, for us, the main challenge when we joined InnoHEIs was related to one of the main goals of the project, which is basically promoting innovation between universities and the environment. Basically, mostly companies, because are those that can make an efficient use of the infrastructure, basically. So, as I will mention in a second, the challenge in Catalonia was and is that while Catalonia has already excelled at research, so if we check statistics, only after the Netherlands, you will see that Catalonia is the territory in the EU with the best indicators for research and up to a point development. But when it comes to innovation, when it comes to do something with that research, then you jump to something that is more moderate. So, and what is the point at some point to have like excellent research if at some point you see that it ends up publishing very well, having all these patents and everything, but then it's just that. Okay, you want to do something with that. So infrastructures, for sure, I mean, it's obvious, we don't need to justify that. It's something that is relevant and it's necessary in that regard. For a very long time, the policies related to innovation were a little like less relevant. First, like I go a little back behind because of the financial crisis. And unfortunately, that happened in many countries, like when it's time to be a little stingy when it comes to investing. Sometimes it's easier to invest a little less in science, technology, and innovation because you don't want to stop investing in education or in health, which is a priority. So that can be challenging for a while. Then something happened, which was a little like about our social context. We were declaring independence and not, and yes and not. That took some time that our focus was there for a while. And then we went to the COVID situation, which put our attention away for another couple of years. So now it was time, okay, let's rethink about that. So the original instrument that we wanted to address when we started InnoHEIs was the RDF 2014-2020. There was still room, there was still money, many things were possible. We had specific instruments for infrastructure, so let's address that and let's improve the calls, the measures that are specifically for infrastructure to make sure that we can create better synergies with companies and so on. But COVID comes, and using the possibilities offered by the European Commission, Catalonia decides to invest all the remaining ERDF into COVID measures. So ERDF is closed, no more ERDF, but life goes on and there are other instruments out there, no? So we had to find some kind of umbrella. So we chose, given all the options, this National Pact for the Knowledge Society 2020-2000. Sorry, this is the first part, but it goes until 2030, as you can see at the very end. So there is a typo there. Careful with the wording, because in European language that could be another thing. But when we see national here, it means Catalan. Okay, so. But that's the official name of the policy instrument. So it has different things. One of them is the one that we were addressing specifically for InnoHEIs, but let's discuss some things that that have been just introduced and which are interesting to consider. Like the first thing, the first big change was to make sure that 1% of the Catalan government expenditure was devoted to R&D, or has to be devoted to R&D, before 2031. That doesn't mean the total R&D investment, but the public government R&D investment, okay? Then you need to add the universities, you need to add the private sector, and so on. So obviously the target is to go beyond the 3% of the GDP, but only from the government side it must be already 1% of the GDP, which would be adding another a little more than 300 million euro to the existing budget. The second is a big strengthening of the social dimension, okay? So basically to add some things just to address things like the social, the gender perspective, and also like making sure that, because it was identified as a challenge for many researchers, especially in the early stage moment of their careers, that they were struggling, they are still struggling to work in research and development and innovation. Huh? So even myself, like when I need to negotiate something, I cannot negotiate my salary because it's a public salary, so it's given. So when I ask for something, I ask for time because I want to be paid in time. So that's the thing, I want free time to do, or even to work. Like because we all end up doing so many things that we need quality time for our private lives or just to work in a more efficient way. So that was something that is being considered. And also like to rechange a little the governance system, especially of universities where other research institutions, it's in most countries that if we compare universities or research institutions with other public institutions, and of course private ones, the governance model is still a little 20th century rather than 21st century. So that's something that not in all cases, but in a comparison, we would see that we need to reshape that, the way in which we structure that, in which we professionalize it, and so on. And of course, they wanted to integrate the sustainable goals of the United Nations, as many strategies are doing. One of the things under this big Catalan science law that was passed by the Parliament of Catalonia recently in December 2022 is the National Pact for Knowledge Society, which addresses specifically innovation. So we have the science law, which addresses everything, and then we have this specific strategical approach that goes specifically into innovation. So again, the goal was exactly this. We are good at research, we know that, that's fine, but what do we do with that? So let's do activities to do that, especially in three main fields, like first, when it comes to investment. So let's make sure that we look at the tools we have, the measures we have, the instruments we have, let's make sure that we can make them efficient or even more efficient, and just to improve the goals, the measures, and so on. That's fair, that's just improving. Then the second specifically addresses infrastructures, not only by making sure, because you know, like for many years, like it happened in many countries, especially in the moments in which they're well developing the most, we bought, like everyone else, many infrastructures, and every university, now they have their own infrastructure and so on, but at some point they start being obsolete, and you need to renew them, as we discussed many times in this project. So let's see what we can do about that. Let's see also like avoid things that are inefficient, like duplicities between universities and other things that make no sense anymore. And we also want to create better mapping and to be able to tell companies that might be interested in collaborating with universities or research centers where they can find what they're looking for. And again, like address, like move something that it happened at the European level and in most countries, like let's move away from these old scientific domains into more societal economic challenges. Let's talk about challenges more, and let's talk about domains, research domains, but let's link to the smart specialization strategy and so on. So let's identify the real challenges, and let's make sure that the measures, that the goals and so on address those challenges in a more specific way than in the past. What about the action plan? So the action plan, like all other action plans, is we propose several measures, then we see what make more sense within the project, which less, and so on. So let's discuss exactly what was done in this specific one. So we decided after the discussions with the lead partner and the JS, so what is the efficient thing to do within the project? What is what we can actually prove that it was influenced by the exchange of experience with the other organizations involved. So we decided that, okay, like why the policy instrument, so the measures and everything was being shaped, it makes sense. Like what we are failing to see, what we were failing to see is what is the impact. So we realized that when we discuss the monitoring or the evaluation of many policy instruments, we tend to focus into the direct impact. Okay, we have 1 million. We wanted to support 20 companies. That's the target, 20. How many companies did we support? 18, we didn't reach the target. 22, great. But it's not only that, there's other things beyond that. Because by participating in these projects, even in the project sometimes even may fail, organizations involved might be, they are positive externalities. They are learning. They are maybe more interested to participate in further projects after that. They might be willing to incorporate new personnel, not necessarily to work in this project, but because of what they learned or their new interests or so on. So innovation, it's not just objective. It creates something more than that. The learning generates further spillovers and positive externalities. So we said this is important for public policies because we need to tell the society, of course researchers and businesses and so on, but at some point like we need to inform the society that the money that it's invested in R&D and innovation, it's not just a direct effect, like we put the money here and we get this or we don't get it, but it also generates further development, okay? So we wanted to prove that, so we said, okay, let's use this policy instrument, let's use this instrument framework just to work on that, just like to be able to better measure that. So we designed this pilot action. The pilot action is what we're implementing now to be further developed. and let's try to monitor and evaluate how the activities can have a further impact beyond the actual project itself, okay? So based on the things that we were discussing and so on, so the activities that have been done, of course, we wanted to start with a pilot. Of course, we selected the pilot with the instruments that connect to infrastructures, in which infrastructures are used. Instruments where universities collaborate with companies making use of the infrastructure of the universities in this case, but also research centers, or some calls that are specifically designed to improve the actual infrastructures, okay? So as you can imagine, we define targets. On targets, again, let's not think about targets like we want to support 20 labs, but targets like further than that. So is people interested in innovation after participating in these projects more than they were before? Without the project, would they be interested in collaborating, or it's just because they got money? So let's set other targets rather than just the objective ones. Let's go to the subjective approach here. So identify the sources, because when it's objective, it's easy. You just ask, like, how many patents did you file? How many companies did you support? But when it comes to this subjective, you need to have interviews. You need to collect information in a different way, because it's more subjective, it's more qualitative. So we work on that, like designing the tools, the interviews that should be developed, like in which way, what can be done digital, what needs a direct interaction. And we design these indicators, like the qualitative ones, of course, because sometimes we need accountability. So public money spent, so some of things are totally objective, they must be there, but also like this more qualitative approach. And we are working on that now, so everything was designed, so now the piloting is, again, like trying to start doing this collection of information from the first calls that now are closed, and they are starting to be implemented. Of course, these things take years, because if we are working on the first calls now, we can gather some initial information, but the project will close in 2 or 3 years, so we'll need, and innovation takes time to produce outcomes. But still, this is what we're working now, and again, like also building a communication plan, because again, like we can collect all this information, it can be interesting for policymakers and so on, and for beneficiaries, but it's also very relevant that we can tell the society this money is invested for a reason, and we can prove that. And of course, like what's next, and that comes out of the action plan, but it's also connected from the learnings of this project and the discussions that we've been having with the managing authority, you know? So again, like under these new calls, under this new approach, under these new instruments, so on. So first is, again, to analyze in order to improve the efficiency of the R&D institutions. So we need to realize that the solution is not only to put more money out there and have more infrastructure, have updated infrastructure and so on. No, it's just like to give a rational use to this infrastructure, see what makes sense, what doesn't, what infrastructure is really interesting for the activities of the region, the country, whatever. What infrastructure can be supported by public funding, which one cannot. So all these things, these must be considered. Also to improve the calls, okay? So let's make them more oriented towards the specific challenges and the productive structure of the territory. And again, like let's see this potential new funding that they're building now to invest in this collaboration where the infrastructure is part of it, but not just this collaboration between the universities and the businesses with the goal of addressing the initial challenge that I mentioned, which is research is good, it needs to keep being good, of course, let's put attention there, but the objective needs to be moving more and more towards making something good with these sound research results that we have produced. So that's the summary.
Oh, hello. So now we will go to France, and our guide there will be Simon Abraham. Sorry for that, yeah. And I will put your presentation in a moment.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be with you today. I just decided to change my presentation with I did a picture as an introduction, and I wish I will have some reaction from you. Oh, there is no picture. It's the old one. The effect is not working. It's going. So we will have it. So we decided to focus on structuring the support of innovative startups. I will explain you why. So here we are. Yes? I think. Yes. Yes. So as I said, a picture is more than 1,000 words sometimes. So my work in economic regional development agency in Loire Valley region is, if I simplify my work, is to create link between worlds. We have two different worlds. The world of research and development, who use resources to create ideas, to create discover, and another world, the world of innovation, maybe the world of startups, of company, who are taking ideas, discovers, to create new resources and a new economical cycle. So those two worlds are not as simple as this picture, but we need people to create languages, to create links between those two worlds. And a project like InnoHEIs is for develop a real opportunity to change our vision, to take the time to ask questions and to renew our work, our model. So the context is that we are not in Catalonia. We are in the Central Loire Valley region. So we have a moderate flow of technology-intensive project. So as we are a small economic region in Europe, in France, we have a necessity of cooperation between all the various actors. We have no choice. It's the unique solution in our ecosystem. So one more time, my role and the role of an organization like DevUp is to create link and trust between different actors and structures. So we are focusing the action to structurate the support of innovative startups. We were inspired by a good practice, the good practice from the Tampere University, who set up a regional higher education network. So it was an inspiration source for us. And our challenge is above to provide each innovation project owner with a support pathway for the project during its various phases, ensuring that it always benefits from support offer adapted to the specificities and guiding one support to another with a logic. Because each actor need to work with others to keep the logic for a private company, for a public researcher. We all have our world and we need to create link. Sorry. So we focus on this region incubation network. The context is that money is a unique language. So the leader of this decision and this network is the region Centre Loire Valley, who is a public actor, a public funder, and we are just operator. And the member of the networks are the entities, the association, the transfer technology centers, who are implementing the projects. So we have a common regional banner beyond the interest of the territories and of the structures. So the first action we are still making is to realize a mapping of the different services offered by these networks of actors to create data resources sharing with all the actors. Sometimes two different structures are making the same things, but not at the same time of a project. So it's really important to identify those interactions or opportunity of new interactions. And we have several subjects because sometimes we are focused on a problematic of money. Sometimes it's a legal problematic, but they are all linked together. And we project to develop a clear structuring and unified support offer for project leaders. So the next steps of this deployment is to sharing more information on project monitoring. So we need to create a network with a lot of trust. And we are setting up a digital hub to share information, to share visits, to share some documents. We already have such digital hub, but focus on problematic of economic development on basically problematics like a company is searching new area to develop. We are going to enlarging the uses of this data hub to share R&D and innovation information, to have another cycle of confidentiality in the same network. So we need to have different access. So in DevUp, we have an internal development digital hub resources. So we can, it's easier for us to develop because we are not working with a subcontractor. And the next step will be to share services and to enlarge the strictness of these different structures and maybe make proposals to the public authorities and the logic of intervention with startup to improve the capacity of our ecosystem. So the impact expected, is to federate more the actors, and the added value for the public authorities is to provide visibility and to be more efficiently. For the partners, for the superstructures, is to have more recognition and to be more attractive. And for the companies, it's the most important, is really to ensure the project and the companies in our territory and to provide quality services and benefit of new opportunities for future. Thank you.
So thank you, Simon. I guess that we will be keeping our questions to the end of our meeting, this panel now. So I would like to invite Finland from two presentations. Ah, okay, two presenters. It will be more exciting. Okay, so I hope you know.
You take the slides there, yes.
Yeah. So, and this is the mic. Are you sharing a mic, or you will be using two?
I can use this one. I hope.
I hope. I hope so. So.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, but this one is working, so I don't know.
I think you are hearing me. Yes. Okay. Yes. So we have two presenters here. Now it's yes. Now it's much better. Okay. Thank you. And And in our action plan, we have actually 2 actions. Other one was this playbook, and the other one was these digital compass activities. And I will start telling about what, in our case, this playbook mean. And the background for that is that maybe you remember that we have in Finland or Tampere have so-called 6 Sustainable Industry Acts network, and we have made this playbook for the how to work, how to make the infrastructures in our 6 services. And actually, in our case, in our playbook, we have 2 different kind of playbooks. Here too, yes. One playbook is for those infrastructure owners. The idea that maybe you are a researcher or some company who has some interest in infrastructures, which could be part of this service or infrastructure services in the 6 network. And we have some kind of instructions or process how to infrastructure owner can put his infrastructure as a part of these 6 services or 6 infrastructures. Actually, we are calling today those infrastructures for the name of 6 labs. And idea is that first you have to find what this infrastructure 6 labs means, what kind of possibilities it can give for the infrastructure owner. And the second part, you need to think about by yourself what kind of services you have, maybe what are the costs, what kind of cost you would need for, or more money you need to, how to say, give services for those people who are needing the services from, or who like to use your infrastructure, for example, research or development activities. And then the third part is that you have to define your infrastructure as a part of this 6 labs service. You maybe make the web pages of the system or make some kind of service information for the customers who need these systems. So this is the playbook for the owners of the infrastructures, and then we have other playbook for the customers, companies or some other organizations who are willing to use those infrastructures, those 6 lab services. And again, there are actually 3 steps. One is that organizations who are interested about these 6 labs, they need to go to web pages and get to know about the 6 network activities and what kind of things there are and what kind of things they can do with the 6 network members. And the second part is that, again, those organizations need to think about by their point of view that what kind of need they have, what they are ready to pay for that, or are they ready to pay for that, and then identify what kind of maybe research things what kind of research or development they would like to do in these infrastructures. And then third part is that they have to make some kind of agreement with the infrastructure owners, and then go to actions, make the research or development in those infrastructures. So this is very shortly about our playbook idea. We have 2 playbooks. One is for the infrastructure owners and one is for the infrastructure users or customers. And then Nadia continues with this digital compass things. By the way, did I go on this? Please.
So hello everyone, my name is Nadia Nordling. I'm with the Regional Council of Tampere region and walking in the shoes of Marja-Riitta Mattila-Nurmi within this project. Looking forward, because Jacek promised that there's going to be some funny pictures. So let's see if they come up. So our second action plan relates to the digital compass for Tampere region. So the digital compass process is our tool for working towards the cross-pollination of ecosystems in Tampere region, nationally and internationally. So here is just an overview of the phase 1 that took place February 22 onwards. So the process of coming up with the dimensions and the activities implemented within the digital compass engaged approximately 50 people in this workshop-based activities. So this is the outcome of the process, which is divided in these 4 dimensions related to skills, infrastructure, business, and public services. So our digital compass within the infrastructure dimension focuses on this ecosystem hub of chips, and on this metaverse center of expertise, edge computing, R&D center, and so on. On the business dimension, the focus is on what has been already elaborated here with the startup incubation and entrepreneurial ecosystem kind of dimensions, and also stimulating the digital capabilities of the businesses within the region. And in the public services dimension, the goal or the strategy guides us increasing the capabilities of the public sector actors and overall stimulating the digital service development and overall the ICT solutions utilized in the public services. In the skills dimension, it's about increasing the number of ICT professionals and focusing on the education of within universities, and also the diversity of digital expertise, and the least but not the smallest, the digitally skillful citizens. And here is just a picture of our smart specialization focus areas with four focus areas, and both the actions resonate to this regional smart specialization strategy. So the 4 focus areas are health and wellness, technologies and services, culture and digital expertise, economy, smart and sustainable communities, sustainable industry transition, especially illustrated in the first action plan, all resonate into the vision of well-being for people and nature in a bright, integrated, sustainable and reachable way. Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's end. Thank you.
So we are staying north, and we will be now in Sweden. Karin, I invite you to come here to share your thoughts about InnoHEIs. This is also a team presentation. Okay, so I guess, Monica, that you will have to have 5 or 6 people in the end.
Okay.
Okay, so mic is yours,
Oh,
floor
yeah,
is yours, presentation.
Is this one working? Yeah, good. The presentation is soon here. We have Lars-Åke here, and we have Fanny and me, Karin, if you've forgotten our name. Oh, no. That's good. Appreciate it.
I hope this is this one.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
You can take the next picture if you like. Is this what I'm going to use? Yeah.
Yes. Is it?
Okay. Our task is to improve the research and innovation infrastructure and go from fragmented to a more integrated system. And this is what we took the aim on from the beginning to be. We realize we are in a region where there are some different thinking, different ways of working, although the region is rather small. So we have different regions working with the same ERDF program, which is giving us some challenges. So we address actually the ERDF funding that is in middle of Sweden. And yes, I don't have the slides in front of me, so I'm trying to talk on this one. Thanks. Thank you. Yes, and it's pretty much money that's been in this area. The background to the action plan is actually that we did a self-analysis in November in 2021. We interviewed all the research centers that we have in the university and some others in the regions. And we had workshops with stakeholders, with the Mid-Sweden University management and the research centers that we have there. And approximately 12 of these different kind of research centers that we actually focus on. And we have workshop with the national agency Vinnova with different regions to see how they worked, and we try to sort of learn from the OECD studies that also was made on this region as well. And we did some analysis and reports on the ERDF and the highest role in the ERDF's smart specialization strategies in the region. So we actually work pretty much to see how is the quality system working within the university in cooperation. Is there a sort of a cooperation between the university and the regions? And we could see that there were some gaps. And we try to look at the good examples from Tampere region and Northern Netherlands when we developed the action plan. So to summarize the challenge that we saw. No, I'm sorry. Oh, he has made, this is an interesting approach. I see this one. Thanks. Perfect. The gaps identified in our region is, as you can see, the region is very large. This is bigger than Holland, but we only have 400,000 inhabitants approximately, one university. And in the northern part of Sweden, there are 3 universities. And just here in Katowice, you had at least 4. 3. More, even more. I mean, so we are a little bit stuck. Yeah. In the whole region, 40. Okay, so we are 7 public. All right. So we have a little bit differences in how to approach these areas, but we're trying to do our best. So what we see is this: it's such a long distance between people, and we see it's very fragmented. It's there are so many. We have a lot of innovation support system, a lot of different actors. But everyone is doing a very good job by themselves. The thing is that it's not so coordinated as we wanted it to be. And we see that many standalone actors are doing a good job, but it's not what we really wanted to happen. So what we actually did was to, so we tried to identify the challenge. And then I'll see if I can find that picture. This is interesting. Yep. Yeah.
That keeps your brain running.
Exactly. So the contacts and the dialogue between our higher education institutes and the regional authorities exist, of course. There are many different ways they talk to each other, but it was not systemized, and it was very, in some cases, weak, because everyone tried to be good in their own role, but never together. So we tried to really, we had to find an action plan that, how can we make this happen? How can we do something about this? So it seems kind of obvious that you should talk to each other and that you should cooperate, but we try to increase the information from the university to tell them what can we do at the university and what can we not do, because sometimes the expectations were too high. You have one university and the official regions think that we can do everything, and sometimes they think we cannot do anything. So that's the different challenges here. So we tried also to develop something that we call S3+, increase the communication between the universities and the 2 regions, and to try to develop some kind of joint calls to influence what we can do in an early stage. We have not done any joint calls yet. And we try to increase the cooperation with the European Union. And then we have received at least some results. You heard one of them this morning. We have one good practice that we really are quite proud of. and that should work well, but it's called the Minding the Gap. It's a cooperation between the university and the different municipalities in the region. I think we have 14, 15 municipalities, and that has developed very well. It's been going on for some while, but it is giving good results. And then we have developed this communication between the two regions and the managing authority and the university. So now we meet at least once a month to discuss what is going on, what can we do for each other, and what is happening. And I would like Fanny and Lars-Åke to tell a little bit about, we also started a lot of other discussion forums and so forth to increase our work together with the regions. And Fanny and Lars-Åke, please.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, as Karin mentioned, the challenges are quite large. But we started quite recently with regular meetings between...
Sorry, is it closer?
It's not? Closer? Is that okay? I think it's on, right? Regular meetings between strategists at the regions and faculty officers at the university to set processes for early dialogues between researchers and the regions regarding ideas for research projects and collaboration between stakeholders. And that's, well, partly something that has spun out from this project or for discussions in the S3 Plus, as Karin mentioned.
Yes. And you also have some other deeper discussion with Lars-Åke that you are having also in your faculty, the same thing, or?
No, it's kind of the same thing. We're trying to match researchers with, I mean, the regions that are responsible for the smart specialization strategies. We're trying to match researchers to be part of their groups where their actual work is being done. And I can just comment on the the meeting that we're having now once a month with the people responsible for the smart specialization strategies. It's kind of like many of you have mentioned before. It's building trust. That's the aim. To build trust, to get to know each other in a more deeper way, in order to facilitate, make it possible to develop these common projects, so to speak. So that's part of the why we are holding these meetings right now. So.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. It's actually, we think it's important to have this dialogue, even though it deepens our understanding of what is going on. We had one other indicator as well on our, so what we wanted to achieve. We wanted to get at least 6 European projects located after our InnoHEIs. That was our own aim when we started. We have 4, some Erasmus project and then some others that the region started and so forth. So I think maybe we'll get there before it ends. But that was our internal aim as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Swedish team. Now we are going to Lithuania. You are only one presenter. Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
So I give you the mic. You can use
this
whichever
one.
you want. Okay.
Oh, this one. It's better, maybe. Okay. As I'm waiting, I can tell that we left Lithuania and it was 18 degrees. But I hear that I feel that in this audience we have atmosphere like 25 or 30. So I hope. Yeah.
So we are ready.
Yeah. Okay. So pleasure to be here with you. I will share the process of the implementation of the action plan in Lithuania. So how we implement our action plan. It is based on mission-oriented science and innovation programs. And it was the first successful program organized by two ministries, Ministry of Education, Science and Sport and Ministry of Education of Economy and Innovation. We together created the first time new pilot funding for science and business cooperation. For these pilot programs, we had funding from Recovery Asylum Facility, and both for R&D projects and for infrastructure. Inspiration came from good practice from a Spanish quadruplex model, which we used, and we involved in this process public sector, non-governmental organizations, science and higher education institutions, and business. So, how we organized, I left a couple slides. So how we organized all this process. We started it in 2021. All stakeholders were able to provide, to give input on possible mission ideas, topics. It was collected more than 80, exactly number was 84 ideas, and all of them were evaluated by experts in two stages. In first one, we those ideas were divided into evaluated by impact and for society and smart specialization priorities. And we got 12 topics, as you see, those little points. And at the second stage, every 12 groups were evaluated by different experts by such criteria like impact for society, Lithuania's science and business potential, possibilities to attract public or private funding. And the results were presented to Smart Specialization Coordination Group, and they agreed to brought to the next selection stage 6 topics. And at that point, we invited sectoral ministries to identify sectoral ministries' problems and their tasks in our national progress plan. And this process helped us to identify those programs' specific target goals. And finally, as you see, at the last we have 3 programs. So all 6 well-prepared topics were presented to our Science and Technology and Innovation Council, and it was selected 3 main mission programs. So we have Innovation for Health, we have Climate Neutral Lithuania, and we have Safe and Exclusive e-Society. So when all necessary steps, all necessary papers were filled out, Innovation Agency launched a pilot call. It was on the beginning of February. They were invited consortia consisting at least of 2 universities, 2 business partners which are investing in R&D. We also opened the possibility to join a consortia other partners which are necessary for implementing projects like hospitals, like science and technology parks, or even associations, or whatever it's necessary for just to get better results for consortia. So independent experts will evaluate our consortia projects, and we expect that this summer they will start implement them. Also, we created a steering committee. It consists from, of course, from Ministry of Education, Science and Sport, the Ministry of Economy and Innovation. Also, we included Central Project Agency, which is responsible for Recovery Asylum Facility fundings, and we also included a Research Council and Innovation Agency as well. So, yes, finally, as you see in our timeline, which was really strict, but we have left only the final task, actually. It might be already done, but because Innovation Agency start the call in time, but consortia asked additional month because it was difficulties to reach potential business partners, investors. That's why only at the beginning of May we will have results how consortia build and give their projects to agency. So Thank you very much. It was very useful and interesting participate in the InnoHEIs project, and also thank you quadruplex model, Spanish quadruplex model. It was very useful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so thank you very much. I think that we are waiting for the last but not the least presentation. To your surprise, we are finishing in Katowice. And I give the floor and the mic to Monika while changing the slides.
Okay. Good afternoon to all of you. My name is Monika Ptak. I work for Marshal Office, is a regional authority of Silesia Voivodeship in the capital city, Katowice. And we work together with my colleagues, which is here, in regional development department, and we as well transform for the transformation this department. It's a long story, but we are responsible for regional innovation strategy in our region. And being a partner in the InnoHEIs project gave us a great opportunity to implement a lot of solutions in the right moment of our work. And we are very happy to cooperate with Silesian University because we are both a different point of view of the managing the infrastructure, and the other on the other side on the financing and demanding the process of the implementation of the project. So it's very good moment for us. We are not really good moment according to the pandemic period, but a very good moment for the implementing part of our job. And where I want to say that the most of our experience in InnoHEIs project is connected to the good practice, and we are mostly inspired by Hansa University of Applied Science. And we work a lot of possibility of implementing a lot of solution on the building the bridges between science and business. And for us, is very a new way of a new view for many aspects of this topic in our innovation ecosystem. As a project results, we focus mostly on changing in our policy, and the starting point for us is a regional diagnosis. There was a study which was conducted by Central Mining Institute. It's a research institution, the most important for us in this time, because they are mostly focused on the transformation processes from the traditional sector to the innovation projects, innovation areas of research. And they as well, they know the reality of research institutions. That is a good solution to ask them to help us to make the regional diagnosis. And the further steps, according to the result of the regional diagnosis, we prepare an action plan, and then we focus on the implementation of the solution and the recommendation from action plan to our policy. Mostly we are in the good time, because in 2020 we focus on designing a regional innovation strategy for 2021 and 2030. So we can implement a lot of solutions to our strategy. And the other part of our job is looking for some possibilities for the regional non-competitive projects we can conduct as a region with universities and research organizations. And the most important part, because there is a lot of the very huge allocation amount of money from regional operational program, is focused on the R&D support for enterprises. So we see our InnoHEIs project as a starting point for building an joint approach to the to showing the offer of universities and research organizations to the enterprises. And we hope that is a starting point for the future collaboration between other partners in Europe in the Interreg project. So I hope we can collaborate still in this area. According to the regional diagnosis, we focus on the state of the play in our region. I want to say that we have a great concentration, I think the most concentrated resources of science institution in Poland. So it's 40 universities, 7 of public universities, and the rest is private. So it's a huge number of institutions with a huge problem, the huge part of people, students. So they at the same they collaborate, and there is concurrence on some level. And the most important part of our evaluation of the situation in our region, there is the infrastructure is very then concentrated and I want to say destroyed, comparing to the other, not modern, very ancient, and not matching to the needs. So it's comparing to the other regions in Poland. We look, there is a lot of barriers for the future research project and cooperation with enterprises. So at the end of this diagnosis, I don't want to say a lot of details, but the most important part is the recommendation for the management board of Silesia Voivodeship for implementing directly to the policy. And there are a few findings. The most important part is that we can focus not only on the universities and research institutions, but we are focused on the research application centers, technological parks. So it's a direct implementation of the experience in InnoHEIs project, that we work on the huge aspects of the possible resources. And then we focus on the research infrastructure in each of smart specialization areas. We have 5 specialization areas, and we can see there is a very good covered in the area, mostly in the area of green economy, this is 77%, and in the area of energetics. So it's very concentrated on the main and crucial topics of our development strategy. And the most important part of the findings is the pro-innovative services of this institution. And the most of them are focused on the research activity. There is others like protecting the intellectual property or international cooperation. And another findings, which is very important for us, what is the impact of research conducted on this infrastructure to each of the specialized areas of the technology in our region. And the most important and more useful, there is infrastructure in the area of materials, raw materials, and for the environmental protection. So it's as well a good findings for us because it's covered the most important part of our smart specialization strategy. And then when we go to the direct implementation of the action plan to the policy, we have we have a flagship project in regional innovation strategy, which is mostly concerned the mapping of the regional key research infrastructure, and it's going to be prepared for showing the offer of the research institution and universities. And our beneficiary of this map is enterprises and the public institution, which are going to use this space and the infrastructure for the research. And another part of our implementation to the policy is direct support, financial support from the regional operational program for the research infrastructure of the key importance for the region. Until now, we have identifying 41 projects that we agreed with the Ministry of Education and Science, which give us approval for the projects which are not duplicate on the national level. It's very complicated in Poland, but till now we agreed on 21 of this project, and it is a huge part of, it's a huge amount of the projects comparing to the other region. So we work with the beneficiaries which are going to get the financial support in 1 year, probably. So our experience in InnoHEIs projects helps us to implement a direct solution, how to manage each project after the operational phase, when it's going to be useful for the commercial purpose. So it's very needed for this stage. And the last part of our implementation is a project which are conducted by my team. And the part of this project is concentrate of the mapping of regional key infrastructure, and the other part is creation, but I don't know if it's possible. According to the European regulation, creation dedicated fund for maintaining key research infrastructure, because of course it's connected with the public aid rules. Yes, and we, comparing to our experience in 2014-2020, we can finance the projects in key research infrastructure on the regional level to the amount for 50 million euro. So till now we have occasion, we work with the beneficiaries during 2 years. And we found out there is two very important. One is concerning the center for the oncology center, and another one for the new materials for the transportation and aircraft. So it's very important project that we really work daily with the beneficiaries. So we are happy that we are going to have such a great infrastructure in the region. Yes, it's a list of our partners and possible projects, and we look for supporting them in financial ERDF source. But I want to say that above that, in our region, we have a great possibility to finance all the activities in universities and research organizations which are going to cooperate with the business, with European Social Fund. So it's a new opening for the new possibilities for cooperation with business. So I think it's a great influence in InnoHEIs project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we have gone through all the presentations, so I guess it's either time for discussion or for Q&A session. I don't know if there are any questions or comments. If not, I guess I would give the microphone to Rima for the closing remarks, because I think we are wrapping up this meeting before the lunch. So Rima, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, performance. So, it's actually not, in a way it's very easy to wrap up, in a way it's not, because what you presented, I'm really proud of your results. It's not very often happens in the project that each partner achieved actually what they're aiming at. And presenting, was listening to your presentation, I thought, okay, what should I say when it's over? I mean, when you finish, because to mention again what you achieved, it's no use. We all heard, and really, I'm very happy that we also achieved not only direct results, which is very good for project to sum up and to get our final money, but also the InnoHEIs inspired you for new developments, which is, I'm very happy, because this type of projects very often makes you think out of the box, opening your horizon. You meet different people, you talk to them, and you got experience not only in your topic, not only in your life, but something new horizons and open. And like somebody wants 6 new projects, somebody wants new programs, somebody wants themselves to develop. So this is kind of our learning curve, because as I mentioned from the beginning, we learned on 4 levels: individually, organizational, we helped our stakeholders to learn, and also we shared our learnings with the world. So in a way, it's a sad story to finalize, you know. Thank you very much for your all hard work. It was nice to meet you and work together. But I also would like to wish you all to go forward, to develop yourself, to help your organizations, to help your regions, to help your countries to develop. Not only in research and innovation infrastructure, not only about universities, but in general, because world is moving, something totally new coming in your horizon. I hope InnoHEIs also help for that. So not much to say unless you have any questions and you want to contribute, because all conference you were so modest, and I hope in the afternoon meeting you will be talking more. So if nobody wants to say anything, I would like to thank you, our Joint Secretariat Interreg Europe representative Alexander. Thank you for coming, being with us. Our regards to Anna and Sigolena, and to Erwin, and to Hassan, to all of them. And thank you all, and not only you, people online. Some of them couldn't travel, they have very limited budget. Some of them couldn't travel, but they joined us online. Thank you very much for that, and good luck in all your developments, and we will talk in afternoon. And thank you for participants listening to us and uploading to us. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So this is it. I invite you for a lunch, and all project partners are invited to be back here after lunch, and we will have the second phase partner meeting. Okay, so thank you.